The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as two powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup.
Four historical weeks, and what do you know, ladies and gentlemen, we are just in the second inning. Welcome to the Wildcards. My name is Ramon. With me is Datum. This is the Philippine qualifier for Predator League 2025. My good friend, Datum, how are you today? I think it's been a while since I've had a really good synergy with a caster. I just really love how much we're vibing.
I thought you were about to say it's been a while since we cast. It's been 2 days, my friend.
I know, right?
It's been 2 days. But guys, 2 days has been too long. I have been waiting for Stage 2. It's finally come, and it's going to be action-packed. There's a lot of teams gunning for the 2 spots to get to Stage 3, and I can't wait to get this started, Chris.
Yeah, it's almost like an all-in qualifier, if I do say so myself, and that just means every man for himself at this point in time. So, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure all throughout that we've been casting, but I think it's a really good opportunity as well to give our thanks over to the Games and Amusement Board for allowing us, the Predator Gaming, to authorize and officiate the Predator League 2025 as an official tournament registered under the approval of the Games and Amusement Board in the Philippines. Well, Matt, I do have to tell you, the stakes have never been higher. We've only had so many weeks to prepare up to this point. We have 4 teams locked in, but we have 1 or 2 final slots heading up over to Stage 3 as we speak.
Yeah, and a lot of teams gun for that position, right? And it isn't necessarily the same as in Stage 1, where it's a regional thing where each and every part of the Philippines has a chance to qualify. Everyone here has a chance. But if you're new here to the Predator League circuit, let's take a look at this video to explain what.
That's right, we are at Chapter 2 what is the regional qualifier for Asia Pacific Predator League 2025. And well, that also means that a lot of things are up for grabs right now. But before we head on into anything else, we would like to give this opportunity to thank our sponsor, that is the Xbox BC Game Pass. With over 100 plus AAA games, this is your opportunity to subscribe to the PC Game Pass. All you have to do is to get your first 3 months with every purchase of a Predator laptop. Just check out any Acer Predator laptop right here at the Acer official website on your QR code right here.
Yeah, you can scan that QR. And guys, if you buy a Predator Gaming laptop right now, you have a 3-month subscription absolutely free of charge. Sagot na ang Predator Gaming yung 3 months nyo ng PC Game Pass. At kung nagustuhan nyo, tuloy nyo lang because it's sobrang sulit ng PC Game Pass, no? But enough about that, Chris. Let's talk about the games. Let's talk about the teams we have here at Stage 2. And let's take a look at the bracket as who already played, who's already eliminated, and who's moving on to the semifinals. Some familiar names dito, Chris, to say the least.
Yeah.
We got 4 teams coming on top.
The top one ranked in the Philippines now is Esports, showing a lot of one of their performances right here, just proving that they are still one of the top dogs in the Philippines, heading on into the semifinals bracket. And we have another familiar face up. It is Old Stinky Cat, one of the top 6 teams overall in the Philippines right here as well. They have a kind of a revamped roster. They're not going to be coming in with their VCT roster from before. Now they're kind of just a band of friends who decided to bundle up and play with each other, right? Yeah. 7-Sep Crew and Madlang Bayan Stan are going to be up in the running for the upset of the day, as the schedule predicts it. It is now Esports versus 7-Sep Crew and Madlang Bayan Stan versus Old Stinky Cat. Both bangers of games. But do remember, wala tayong grand final, so they only need to win 1 game para lang makapasok sa ating next stage.
Yeah, I do have to say though, Chris, you talk about VCT experience, just us being one of those teams that entered the elimination round unable to get into the playoffs is a big surprise dito, no? Which could mean there are some upsets on our way. I mean, we haven't, we're not really particularly sure who's playing for one of these, for a couple of these teams actually. For Naos and for Stinky Cat, we know it's the same guys, same core. Kind of, yeah. Now it's the same guys.
Yeah, of course.
But for the other 2 squads, we're not particularly sure the entirety of their roster, how much experience they particularly have. And if you can take a team like just us out in the elimination, I dare say something fishy could happen here today.
I mean, we kind of can put it in with a pinch of salt.
Of course.
Since Just Us is not really coming in with the same full roster that they did, we kind of can give the benefit of the doubt to that team. But of course, that is going to be of notice. We're going to hang on into the map of Icebox. That is the map pick for what has been the map veto result. I think Icebox, I think this is going to be one of the first few times that we'll see Icebox in Predator League Philippine qualifiers so far. I think one of the few teams that like to play this is Naos Esports. One of the few games that they played in Ascension was against Boom Esports, and they kind of had a really good showing, although it wasn't as successful as they would like to have, to the eventual 2nd place winners of Ascension.
Well, it's Boom, right? I mean, they had a phenomenal performance, eventually qualifying anyway for VCT Pacific, right? But alas, congratulations to Boom. But here we go now. This is their playing field for today. And a big difference between Stage 1 and Stage 2 here, Chris, is to qualify, instead of a best of 3, it's just a best of 1. So everything on the line.
Yeah, literally. That means anything can happen. Some mistakes will have a bit more weight to them, if I do say so myself, right? That means everything has to be calculated. I'm pretty sure Naos definitely have a comfort when it comes to the Icebox map. Considerably, historically, this was one of the maps that they had relatively good success on internationally as well. So I'm kind of betting on that for Naos. I do wonder what type of playstyle we're seeing out of 7-Sep Crew, because again, we haven't really seen much out of this team other than the few Tier 2 tournaments that we've seen from them. Yeah. We do want to see a few surprises here and there, because again, Predator League is one of those platforms where a number of unknown teams actually got a couple of upsets, even in 2023, where sometimes Oasis Gaming actually had a few difficulties heading on into the playoffs.
And you got to remember as well, right? Velocity Gaming being one of the top tier teams in the country had a bit of a struggle. They had to get through 2 qualifiers just to qualify for Stage 4, right? So in the Predator League stage, I dare say anything could happen at this point here, Chris. No, and I like that you touched up on the Icebox argument here for Naos. And that seemingly is a trend for a lot of the Filipino teams that step into that international stage, right? Talk about Naos, Team Secret, right?
Yeah.
They seem to have something in the bag when it comes to Icebox up against the international teams. that you gotta wonder, is Naos gonna bring out something new today?
That's true. That's true. I mean, you gotta give credit as well to the core of Naos Esports. I mean, Ja, Papi Chulo, the duo that we've always seen time and time again actually do a lot of legwork for the side of Naos, right? I mean, Ja always flexible. You could see him on the duelist. Sometimes you could actually see him on the controller role as well. I do want to see if he is willing to pick up the chamber this time around, because that's also a pocket pick that he likes to pull out every single time. Papi Chulo, the clutch master. He is the highest rated player in the Philippine scene as well as in Ascension Pacific before he got eliminated. So
Yeah,
that's something that they have to look out for.
Yeah, performance for Papachulo is definitely something to note here today. Speaking of which, he's going to be playing the Viper, with Eman actually going for a Harbor here. So a lot of smokes to cover up the map here for now. As meanwhile, for 7 September crew, a ton of utility. They've got double initiator here, Chris.
I mean, I think I kind of recognize one of these players. I mean, Nebu FPS, one of the tier 2 players that also like to grind just to see if they can get themselves far into the regional scene. This guy hasn't been on the spotlight for quite some time now, but this is an opportunity for him to do so against one of the best teams in the Philippines that we have right here. Double controller comp for Eman FPS, Papi Chulo. I mean, the calling for Eman has been top-notch ever since the local scene. Now, he has to be tested in a best of one, and sometimes things cannot go anywhere when you don't have that success.
Yeah, but this could also just be one of those days where Naos are just flexing their muscles, having a somewhat of a field day against 7 September crew, a team that is a definite up-and-comer here, Chris. But I do have to say, Chris, this is a tale as old as time here in Predator League, right?
Yeah.
You got a newcomer, you got a big team, and sometimes, David wins.
This could go either really good for Naos or really bad. That's the caveat. That's literally the TLDR of what we're trying to do here, right? They could be up against a monster roster that actually could surprise us when it comes to the group stages performance. But Naos Esports have their history. Naos Esports have had a bit of a splash when they were introduced back in 2020, 2021, 2022. So it's gonna be a pretty big task ahead of them for 7 September crew to throw them off. For a team that doesn't actually get thrown off, Naos Esports, seemingly one of the teams that innovated this double controller comp. It's two wall smokers. I think I also saw Wits back when he was on Naos Esports being one of the players that is willing to pull out the Harbor.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think is what do you think is like the argument here? Why do you pull Harbor in the Icebox map when you could just settle on Viper?
I mean, Harbor, a lot of previously what do you call this? Like, a lot of previously aggressive sort of players, like Wits, as you say, Forsaken plays the Harbor sometimes, right? A lot of previous duelists for their roster like playing the Harbor, and I think the argument really is that aggression. But for now, speaking of which, now it's going to turn up the tempo, get the spike down in B, but Maui still in the site, gets one kill with Chi. Now Papi Chulo deals with him. Spike finally going down for now, so 3v4 in the post plant. Some aggressive angles as they try to regain some of that space. Eman puts down the Cove. Yet to go down until Nebu shows up. Now they're failing to hold down this site. Nebu down to 1. Snakebite still available for now, but Papi Chulo getting pressured down in yellow. As Nebu gonna have to try and challenge Ja and Papi Chulo, the duo we're talking about here, Chris. A 3K for Papi, and suddenly 7C down to 1.
Had to play on their own territory now, relying on the wingman. Also gets taken down as Ja picks up the double. It is 5 kills for the duo that is Ja and Papi Chulo. I've been telling you about this, man, ever since they Naos Esports picked up Ja and Papi Chulo. The wind has been sailing for them ever since, right? The core has been established. Everybody on Naos, like a lot of the roster iterations around Naos has been playing around this duo because they seemingly know what to do in a lot of situations where they're in high pressure situations, right?
Absolutely.
They were dealt into a team 2 versus 4. That was right after Eman got caught because of the Cove smoke that was seemingly in an off timing. Could have actually given him the ample amount of opportunity to reposition back into the yellow position, but it was a little too late for comfort. Thankfully, Naos relied on the duo to actually pick up the pieces for themselves. 1-0 so far in their pistol. And they relied on Ja to pick up the sort of the lurking position for them, seeing if somebody from 7 September crew are willing to duel it out on the other side, while Ja picks up his own. Nebu's down. Mojer, he's willing to take the fight yet again.
Yeah, Mojer needs to charge his kill with active. Another veteran here in the Naos roster, proving that he's still one of the best duelists in the country. Shuts down Chi from a high angle down in yellow. One player down in Snowman, and 7th September.
player standing.
Yeah, just down to the last one. Ja coming in from mid.
And it's funny you say that he's a veteran because he's also like the youngest player
That's
on
true.
this roster. Mojer is like barely 20 years old.
Yeah.
And he's already putting up numbers crazy for this team. Always the duelist, always the guy to watch out for. Ja with a 3K. It's another day at the office for them. Taking the flawless 2-0 for them. And I kind of also want to say that Mojer has been in and out of this roster.
Yeah.
He was one of the pioneers of the Now Esports Valorant roster back when they introduced themselves as the old Fallen 5 core. Now they kind of reestablished themselves as now the powerhouse of the Filipino scene. Yes, it was an early exit over at the Ascension League, but they're doing a pretty good job of establishing themselves as one of the best teams in the Philippines right now.
And for the most part, it's been a struggle for Filipino teams to establish that ground in that international scene, right? But as a unit, now it's definitely one of the best here in the country. G catch someone off guard. Seman, he does.
Spike down.
Next, he
B.
will be going in for the trade. And
Here.
finally actually gets another as they retrieve the spike. There's another one in the way. That's Nebu. Shuts down Mojo. Tailwind to safety. And actually, really good aggressive player from the duelist.
Yeah, I like that they're willing to take the green control anyways, because if you let that go, then yellow is just as easy as that.
Yeah.
Now Esports forced to play a little bit more of a passive approach, just relying upon getting that first pick off. And they're coming into the util dump. That is the Killjoy and the Viper of 7th September crew. How do they work through this? Elevation in check as well for the Killjoy, as he's also been dealt with by Ja, who's known to check corners, but not for Nexi. Ame gonna shut him down. Ja has to be careful. He is on an elevated angle, and that is where he actually succeeds into that 3-0 with Papi Chulo picking it up from the lurk.
And guess who's left again? It's Ja. It's Pape Chulo to clean up here for Naos. And again, I like the aggressive play here from 7C. Nebu just evening out the odds here. Ame doing the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's the meticulousness. It's the discipline from Ja and Pape Chulo to check every single elevation here that got the better of 7C. And I'm not particularly sure, Chris, if this is the same Ame that I've been seeing around the Tier 2 scene ever since 2022. But I do remember Ame being a player that, if he is the same guy, that loves playing more of a supportive role while getting a lot of frags. And he is one of the better clutchers here in the Tier 2 scene. Could prove to be useful up against Naos. Nexi, though, not going to allow Nebu to get any opening frags this time. Eman right along Nexi. The only one left in yellow going to be Chi. About to swing out slow. And Mojo just ready for that. He's about to get swarmed here by all 5 players. Nexi shuts him down. Maui from up top has to find something.
Now, they mirrored the type of aggression that they put up on the previous round. This time, they don't have the guns. So they're falling to the hands of Naos one by one with a triple from Nexi as well. These Vandals, well, they put up a lot of value. Remember, a few of them didn't even need to buy up the Vandals anymore. They picked them up from the previous round engagements. So it's all up to Ame, who, like you said, has been one of the clutchers back in 2022. But Flash and check, it's 2 years ago. What does he do in 2024 right now? Nexi pushes up. That's the stinger in hand. Possibly a second, but he reloads. Picks up that pistol, but he walks into Mojer's one tap. That's a 4-0 for Naos. A good start for their attacking round. And like I mentioned, once they establish their control over green, then it's only a matter of time before they could get that yellow control and possibly the spike plan.
Yeah.
Last player
I think a good
standing.
start for their map here is a bit of an understatement here, Chris, considering it's 4-0 and have yet to drop a single round here.
Yep.
And almost every single one, they minimize losses. Only one player going down in this most previous one. So 7th September, really have to dig deep what they're going to do here on this attack. I mean, I like the aggression earlier. I think they're going to do it again in B main.
Oh, man. Maybe third time's the charm for them. Possibly could be something that they're looking out for. Nebu already uses his dash early, so he will not have the same usage into this next coming round. They decide that Naos might be third time's the charm yet again for them, since that is their third time attempting to take that B green side. Goes back towards taking that main position on A, and they even use the Reckoning that early, so the Viper is trouble in paradise.
Mojer, the dash in. That's the Reckoning. Clearing out the backside. Ame still somehow shuts down that jet. Mojer going down as Evan finally busts into the sights. Ame, a bit of an off timing. Gets caught, pants down. Next, he finds Chi as well. A sight wide open after those 3 kills. And now real good turn back into A main. There's not really a lot 7 September can do. There's still a lot of util on our side.
Yeah, so efficient with how they use their util and only investing one ulti off of that Reckoning as well. So push on into the A side. M and FPS getting another onto Nebu. Plus the insurance policy that is Papi Chulo lurking on the mid side as well. It's all looking good for Naos. Unless 7 September Crew could run away with another victory. L gets one onto the Papi Chulo. That's the insurance down. But they need to keep popping the spike. But Nexi just peeks on in. Another tap on for Maui. But Ja is still here. Willing to play the high-low setup with Nexi in the post plant. 5-0. They had a flank. They had a high-low setup over at that main position. So there's not really much to contest against with Naos. They're really efficient with how they use the resources.
It's layers and layers. Even if the flank doesn't work, even if the kills don't work, they still had lockdown. They still had Hunter's Fury. There's
Exactly.
a lot of insurance here for Naos. And that's solely because they've been so efficient, as you said, in each and every round, only using one ulti to take control of that site. And already, look, Naos, 4 orbs out of 7 already after using the Reckoning is insane.
I was about to say, like literally that was 2 kills for Eman, and then he planted the spike down, got the ult orb before it also got tapped down.
Yeah.
This is the IGL. Again, for Naos Esports, who has been big braining throughout Split 1 and Split 2. And it's in full effect. 7 September Crew could not do anything except to attempt to try to fight off the same position on B green for 3 rounds in a row. And not in relative success, unfortunately, because Naos has been utilizing their util pretty efficiently. Mojer hasn't been... He's been really eager in taking a lot of fights here over at green. He's not hesitating. That's why sometimes you see him die first in a few early rounds. But what kind of duelist doesn't die first, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day, it's the space that's important, and now it's so consistent at getting it here on any side of the map.
Pretty early forced buyout for 7 September Crew as well. That's after the timeout.
Yeah,
that's looking like they want to take this risk and run with it, since they don't have that much to lose other than a couple of rounds this time around against Naos. Early beacon control set up because of the wall, as well as the drone is set up by the Sova. This is looking like Mojer wants to take cover. And he pushes onto Ame, who gets shut down immediately.
It's just so clean for Mojer. What? Nexi gets both of them. And the triple man stack in B again dismantled just by 2 people. Maui able to shut down Mojer after creating that space down towards that middle area in orange. But at this point, Now's already got the spike down, and 7C already down to 2 people.
Yeah, a speedrun, if I would do say so myself, right? I mean, just running on in towards that B green position. Yeah. And the thing about it with Naos is that now they kind of utilize the cascade from M and FPS to isolate one of the angles this time and make it easier. Cove out in. And usually you would use that to reposition himself. Eman has decided that he wants to move in and take down one. Yep. As Ja picks up another as well. That's a 6-0 for Naos Esports, adding insult to injury. Remember, that was a force buy for the side of 7 September Crew. Now they have to force out an eco round to the next round, which comfortably could mean an 8th round win on the side of Naos in the next round.
And not to mention, I mean, the players of Naos just looking on fire. Nexi dealt with the high-low setup all by himself. There wasn't any assists to get the kills onto there, so it was all him. I'm sorry about that. I stepped on your shoe.
That's all right.
And, Naos,
it's not like I didn't buy this 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I know. He told me.
Yeah.
Gift from your dad, too, right?
Yeah. I miss him. Hey. Nebu walked up again with the Blade Storm on hand, and it's not looking good. He dashes back again to safety, but you can't say the same for Chi as well. MNFPS follows with a spray down. Papi Chulo with a double kill. All looking good for Naos, and smooth sailing for them as the 7th round win comes through. It's the eco round for 7 September Crew. They tried again with the aggress over to the A site. At least it's not the same side in a row where they tried green multiple times. Now they tried something different. There's also the mid-split as well for one of the players on 7 September, but it didn't really work out. Yeah, remember, 8 rounds in, Ja is 10 without any debts. Still has his lockdown.
Still hasn't used the lockdown, by the way. Hunter's Fury from Nexi too, yet to be invested. And Eman, of course, back on the Reckoning. Papi Chulo 1 away from the Viper Spit. But at this point, I don't think they even need to use any of these. Another 3-man setup here at green. But some different angles might catch Naos off guard here. But they're so careful. Look, they use the Aldrone. A nice little flash coming on through, but no one goes down.
It's so funny to me that all 3 of them got blinded. Nobody even bothered to destroy the flash, but they still kept spraying on that same yellow angle. Yeah. low on HP, but still he comes out with his life. By the end of it, it's still the Jet being given up just so that they could have green control. So now Esports, they're comfortable to play a little bit more passive, play the time to their favor, let Papi Chulo cook something onto the mid side, play a little bit of mind games while everybody else deliver the spike over to the other side of the map. That's what you're seeing right now on the screen. Now, what does this mean for 7 September crew? When they hear the spike, what do I want to hear from them? Pop quiz data, what do I want to hear from them? Hunter's Fury.
They will cower. Wait, they don't have Arena. But either way, now Esports get the spike down. There you go, lockdown on top of actually the Gecko. All the ults invested here by 7C. And they didn't
Almost
get Spike. Spike's still down.
He almost killed his teammate too, but now Esports
no.
still trying to reconvene, so still try to at least reposition themselves. Papi Chulo decided that he wants to fight with the team.
sticking.
Diffusing on Spike, half on in, but Nexi has the ulti. They don't have any time at all unless they could take care of the spike plant this time around, but they still got 2 players detained. So now Esports is as easy as getting 1 and 2. A triple for MNFPS. It was this close for him to fumble that triple kill, but by the end of it, he was still confident to walk up.
The 182 to cap it off. Emin, what was that? The post plant from 7C. I mean, they invested everything, Chris, but they didn't even get the spike to stop from getting planted down. And they never really were in control of that post plant.
He almost killed Chi with the Hunter's Fury too. He was so low after he took his first engagement. It was that close against Naos right here. They were really close by the end of it too, because remember Maui was also sticking on the spike. He was doing a really good job of sticking it to half, but again that lockdown only proving a lot of trouble for the side of September crew. And Maui, well, he decided to peek on, see if he can get a little bit of info. He heard a few bullets, reckoning as well. Activated, Mojo primed up the dash. He saw the kill Zoid, the spam comes through, but doesn't hit the shot. Shorty will capitalize on his positioning. Maui could not do anything but die to the hands of the young Jet player on the side of Naos Esports. They got the spike plant. It's full retake for 7 September.
Again, 5 people left for Naos. 7 September, this time they invested all their ults last round. They don't have any this time, so it's going to be way harder to get into these sightlines. Setup coming on through, but Mojer deals with Dizzy. The double swing. Okay, Ami finds Mojer at least, but Eman strikes back, shuts down Chi. Colt coming on through as well as Eman gets shut down by Ame, but at what cost? 90% of his HP, and this time he goes down in the hands of Nex, who again gets a 3K. Naos, no signs of slowing down here.
Absolutely not. They are the freight train that we have been looking out for all throughout Predator League. And Ja hasn't died 10 rounds in. Literally 10 kills, 0 deaths. While Nexi has been picking up 3Ks after 3Ks time and time again. What is the shining thing about 7 September crew, right? They utilized a few of their ultimates in the past couple of rounds. They were this close of breaking through against Naos. I think the only thing that they could hope for is that they leave the Viper on an island, possibly play around the Viper's pit, possibly on that mid side. But that hasn't been an attack now so far. They like to play around the extremities. So Mojer, always the front man for the Naos Esports side. And he's been known to never hesitate when it comes to these entry potentials. He heard the Jet while he was kind of dwindling down after he went down to the belt position. Ja, very close to kill him off.
Ja. It's always Ja that clears the nastiest of corners. And you know he's going to win the duel as well. 7 September. They're trying everything here. Well, the Eco, nonetheless, Elite only L only holding on to that Bulldog, but it's hard to imagine a world where this retake is going to be successful for Chris with Naos fully gunned up. Okay, fair amount of utility used, clearing up the backside area a little bit. Ame somehow finds a spam onto Aman, but okay, they take control off the site for now. Recon Dart gonna be there, can't get the spike diffused yet. But here comes the barrage of peaks from Naos. Mojer deals with the first tap. Chi goes down. He finds Ja actually. But swing out from Ame finds a 3K until it gets dealt with by Papi Chulo. I mean, he got so close, but it's never enough for 7C.
Crept up over to the maze side, and since both of the high-low players were still holding up the spike anyway, he was able to creep up, see if he could catch all of them off guard. He got 3 of them at least, but at the end of the day, Papi Chulo was still in the supreme position.
Yeah.
You know what their biggest achievement has been so far?
What?
They gave Ja his first death. At least he killed off the guy himself.
Yeah.
That's literally the thing that I'm looking out for right now. 10-0 so far for Naos Esports. It's been one heck of a breeze for them so far. Let's see if their icebox streak continues with Mojer seemingly taking a bit more of an aggressive approach. Updraft in towards that belt side. A cascade to support their cause as well. They got the ult orb, so it's going to be one hell of a tall task to decide whether or not you want to keep holding on to this ace side or not.
Seems like 7C here decided that they're going to hold the line. There's 3 people in very deep angles. Yet to find any contact though, as now is Mojer up above. Playing in from belts. Eman doesn't get tagged. Nice positioning here from Naos.
And by this point, you could actually leave Mojer on A, let everybody else make some noise over to the other side of the map, make them more confused. And since they have the double controller comps, since they already put down the Viper wall, they can use Papi Chulo's utility for that cause. And even if Papi Chulo dies, they still have the Harbor wall, so that they could utilize that for a later round rotation.
Yeah, it's just a nice thing for the double controller setup, right? Particularly with the Viper Harbor. Split up the map, pivot attention to the other side. It's Nexi doing just that. Forces Ame for a peek. Here comes the Reckoning happening down in A site. It's not in B. Mojer gonna be leading the charge. Reckoning gets the stun. Mojer, despite being blinded, finds Chi. Jack gets one. And Nexi still finding that struggler, but at this point, they didn't even need Nexi. Spike's already down in A.
Yeah, literally co-plant on down from Eminent PS. And Nexi is playing like he's back to his old ways of using Viper on this map in particular. But remember, he's the Sova. The scan is going to be very much clutch by the end of this round in particular. They got control of the spike now, but can they defuse it? They spotted Maui while trying to cross over towards that corner. But Ame peeks on with him as well. Papi Chulo relays that info, and MNFPS and Ja will double peek them on down to claim an 11th round win without even needing Nexi. His impact was on the other side of the map, making noise for the team. But even if they kind of misread the situation, like they were trying to see if they can get all the rotation happen over towards that B side, they kept themselves on A, but they still lost the fights anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you could see the players of 7 September as well, trying to anticipate what Naos was going to do. They were pivoting 2 of their players back and forth and back between the 2 sites. And Naos, they were more decided. They executed that A site with the strength of the Reckoning and everything in their kit. And this time, seem to be doing the same thing, except in B main. I'm sure to get spotted out by the recon, but I don't think it's going to amount to much because take a look at Mojer already inching further and further towards the site. Yellow already theirs. And that's almost certainly going to be the plant here for Naos. Unless Mojer gets taken down here. One blade left. Maui up close. Molly by their teammates, and Mojer goes down. Okay, that's a good start to this round. Viper Spit gonna be invested as well by Eman, or rather by Naos. But this is only gonna make things harder for 7 Chris.
That's true, because now they got the territory. They also laid down what type of territory they can pick up, but that's also a counter Viper Spit in hand, so they have some ground covered. But they still need to pick up the fights. Ame through the smoke also anticipates Eminent PS. That was after the scan from the wingman. But they haven't really tapped the spike on just yet. A really nice snake bite as well from Papi Chulo. Gets spotted, doesn't matter. He's still holding the high ground as Papi Chulo reigns supreme on the green side. He also puts down the Viper's pit. Nebu gets a double kill. Jao winning out the 1v1. Yes, he does. Converts onto Chi. It is a 12-0. A perfect first half for Naos Esports.
It's as clean as it could get here for Naos. Not even dropping a single round. And this looked like the closest round so far, but Jack says, nope, you're not taking a round from us. Even if he loses that gunfight, they still don't have time to defuse. So it was just, again, insurances here for Naos. And what a nice snake bite through as well from Papi Chulo, right? I mean, they didn't even need to go for the peak.
And that was a quarter of a second before he even decided to tap on. That he just had an instinct that they were gonna touch it. And even if he spent a bit of time to actually decide to go on the spike anyways, he was inside a Viper Spit. So a big chance that he was going to be low on HP anyway. One tap on the spike, Papi Chulo only needed like one button to lock it down. 12-0 so far for Naos Esports. They won every round in the first half. They start on the defense this time, and well, how does Mojer come up with this? That's one. That's also with MNFPS claiming a free frag on that mid side as well.
Yeah. Yellow. Reposition for Mojer. What a timing! Nebu gets taken down, and Mojer with the 4K flawless to cap things up for Naos a flawless victory here in the semifinals. They claimed their spot in Stage 3.
Well, it is the top one team for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. Naos Esports, I do say without surprise, actually claimed their spot over towards the group stages. They weren't in one of the LAN qualifiers, let's be real. So that means it's going to be a bit of a tall task ahead of them heading on into stage number 3. But we know Naos Esports.
Yeah.
They kind of like to take the long, high road before they actually get on in towards the playoffs anyways. It also just means that we'll see more of them heading on into the stage 3 group stages as well, as we take a look at a few of the highlights later on in this video. I mean, we got to mention a few of the good starts that we've had so far. I mean, the calling for MNFPS has been so clutch in a lot of situations. And drop Papi Chulo on form just meant that this was just as good as a Sunday.
Yeah, and that was what I was about to point out right now. Well, yes, they started to come out swinging, but it wasn't until Ja and Papi Chulo clutched a couple of rounds in a row that everyone from the Naos bot started to just keep on rowing, and they just kept and kept. And 7Cs, they never really had a spot. There were two. I would like to say there was like 2 spots where 7C had like a chance of turning things around. There was one opportunity where it's down to 1v1s. That last round in particular, the closest one at that. But with every player of Naos performing like this, look, a 3K from MN, Nexi consistently getting 3-4Ks, Mojer creating space. I mean, this is just Naos, peak Naos.
Peak Naos, definitely. And this is right after their attempt at Ascension as well. So you know that they're still hungry to take all the Ws that they can get in the off-season, right? So a good day for Naos so far today. I mean, not even so far. I mean, this is the best day that you could see Naos be in peak form, because this is only one game needed for them to actually take on over towards stage 3 for the group stages as well. So, you know, I feel like this is a result that we kind of expected. I kind of wanted to see a little bit more out of 7 September crew as we head on into the scoreboard as well. Gotta mention Ame. He did all his best. He did try to at least make this a little bit more interesting, especially when it came to those post plants. I mean, he came up clutch in a few 3Ks all around across the board, but by Naos' standards, this literally was a Monday for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a fundamental difference at the end of the day, right? I mean, the mechanics, the core mechanics of the game, you have to have that figured out to get to be one of the top teams in the country. And the fact is, Naos, some argue, are the best team on the country right now, right? So they definitely are the Goliaths of the scene right now. So this result, to me at least, doesn't come as any form of surprise. And it makes me even more excited for the next matchup. Old Stinky Cats, again, another roster with a ton of experience, going up against Madlang Bayan Stan, another team that wants to prove a lot here in PL.
Yeah, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already have one of our winners who are heading on into stage number 3, but you can actually join them as one of the winners as well for today, because we have a bit of a giveaway happening on the stream right now. All you have to do is like and follow Predator Gaming, as well as share the stream using the hashtag PLPH2025 and comment which team will win this Wildcards today. Already Naos Esports are in, so if you actually predicted Naos to win, then you're already a winner. But you have another chance, another shot over today, so be sure to predict and win, because if you do, then you'll win exclusive Predator merchandise.
Yeah, actually, guys, make sure that when you share the stream, have it be public so that we can see your entries. You have a chance to win a hoodie and a tote bag, and maybe even more surprise items later on. Again, hashtag PLPH2025 to get your chance to win exclusive Predator gaming merchandise. And that just concludes our first game of the day here, Chris. We have one more slot for stage 3. Before then, we'll just be having a quick break. This is still Predator League Philippines 2025. I'm Datum, this is Ramon. We'll be right back, so don't go anywhere.
The X38 is the latest high-octane curved display from Predator. This zero-frame behemoth has a 37.5-inch span and a 2300R curve in glorious 21:9, so that you can fill your peripheral vision with pure gameplay for all-out immersion. And with a very ergonomical stand, positioning this colossal display is quite easy, allowing you to tilt, pivot, swivel, and adjust the height as needed, so that comfort is maintained even through long gaming sessions. Naturally, you have all the latest ports needed, as well as 2 powerful 7-watt speakers should a headset not suffice. Though the X38 is ideal for hardcore enthusiasts and esports pros alike, what sets it apart, besides a crisp, ultra-wide QHD Plus resolution, is the Agile Splendor IPS panel it uses. This panel makes it possible to push the response time up to 0.3 milliseconds while maintaining a color gamut of DCI-P3 98% and Delta E less than 2, so that colors and details remain vivid. Add on the 175Hz refresh rate and you have a blisteringly fast monitor that keeps all the fast-paced action coming through nice and smooth with almost no ghosting, color bending, or torn frames. To make sure those frames look as pristine as possible, NVIDIA G-Sync keeps frame rate locked to the output of your GPU, while Display HDR 400 certification allows you to enjoy HDR content in or outside of gaming. So if you're looking to go all out, it's time to introduce the monumental X38 to your game setup.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the second chapter of Predator League 2025, at least in the Philippine Regional Qualifiers. My name is Ramon. With me is Datum. We are done with the first wildcard match now, as esports are now in stage number 3. So we'll see you in the group stage now as esports. But for now, we have our last chance for the next one dito sa wildcards natin. It is going to be Old Stinky Cat versus Madlang Bayan Stan. One of these teams, a VCT experienced roster, while on the other side, well, we don't really know much about them, though.
Yeah, that's true. But one thing we know for sure is that they took out just us in the elimination round, which is not an easy feat, to say the least. Another squad with decent amount of tier 1 experience here in the country, so it's a story very similar to that first series, right? But with a little bit more flair here on the side of Madlang Bayan Stan. Not necessarily as big of an underdog as we might think they are.
Yeah.
So maybe we're gonna go for a bit of an extended series.
Okay. Extended series, extended BO1. Just to reiterate, everybody, this is going to be 2 BO1s nga lang naman. We're done with one of them. Ngayon, ang pinakahuling BO1 para sa mga bagong magka-qualify pa lang for stage number 3.
Yes.
So, one last chance para dito sa ating wild card. One last shot for either Old Stinky Cat or Madlang Bayan Stan now. Just to tell everybody, just to inform lang para sa inyo, very advanced na Abyss ang magiging map natin. So, it's gonna be one of the first times that we'll see Abyss being played on broadcast. So, why don't we give a few of our things that we're gonna be expecting dito sa Abyss map, no? So, Cypher is definitely gonna be one of the pivotal picks. Now, there is an optional choice on whether or not you want to pick up a double Sentinel comp or another controller if you want to resupply a bit of the smokes when it comes to the later rounds. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I want to start by talking about Abyss as a map in general. And I want to get this out there. I don't like playing in Abyss, right? I mean, the way that mid works in Abyss is very unique among all the maps here in Valorant. And I think it kind of isolates sort of the intricacies of each particular site here, which puts more importance into the duelist role, in my opinion, right?
Okay.
Neons have been a top priority. Razes have been good here as well. Jets is here as somewhat of a pocket pick, but a lot of teams really starting to pick up on a Jet in solo queue, at least. But with regards to the compositions, double Sentinels have been kind of an emerging trend here for Abyss because of that mid area being somewhat inaccessible almost. I want to say, I mean, that's my opinion only. Inaccessibility of that mid part, because you need to invest so much utility just to keep control of it. And it's so long of a stretch that by the time you get to the other end, you're exposed to so many angles. I just hate playing.
I mean, it's not even you who's going to be playing it anyway, so your opinion is yours. The opinion of the player are going to be different, right?
I'm sorry.
That's why we had the headsets on. That's why we're here in the casting booth. We're not playing. So our opinions, although they are relevant,
might not necessarily be may not be correct.
It might not have like the same weight as the players. Feeling ko yun yung mas magandang pagbigyan ng reference. Pero tama ka nga naman. Medyo unique nga naman yung naging structure ng mid for Abyss, but not even just mid. It's the whole map in particular, right? So you gotta figure out how to take advantage of the elevation. You also gotta think about the risks that you're taking whenever you're doing a few angles here and there, kasi pwede kang mahulog, pwede kang mag-push dun sa secret, although it is a shorter route for you. There's still risk of you dying dahil sa sarili mong, sa sarili mong hands. So, makikita natin. If may makikita tayo mahuhulog, I'm gonna be sure na magki-keep up kami sa kung ilang beses nahulog ang mga players dito. Kahit sino dito wala kaming pinipiling team dito. Literally, kahit sino mahuhulog, 1 na yan agad.
Alam mo yung
2 na yan agad.
Alam mo yung post-plant, pagkatapos mag-defuse ng spike, and you just jump off of the map.
No way.
I mean, it's so much fun to get the timing correctly, but when not, we count that as one.
True. Okay. We're gonna count, basta nahulog, we're gonna count that agad.
So, tigisan agad tayo.
Tigisa.
Hulog na tayo pareho para sa maling tao. Ay, sorry. Hindi pala Abyss.
Wag dito, men!
Sorry.
Wag dito. This is all for our own personal DMs. We don't really like to put our personal laundry in there. But just to tell you, I kind of agree though. Yeah. So, ang dami natin pwedeng pag-usapan dito. Pag-usapan na natin yung kung ano yung may expect na compositions, kung ano yung hinanakit natin sa buhay. What about yung magiging possible roster ng Old Stinky Cat, right? Kasi if I had something that I saw from this previous week, I think I saw nag-LFP yung Old Stinky Cat. They kept their core, I believe, Dignified at saka si hindi ko alam kung si Owen Cutie ba yun or si
I think it was Owen.
the Sun. I think it was Owen Cutie. I think both of them kept playing together since they still have yung experience na playing together. They're also really good at utility play. IGL din si Owen Cutie, so he's still gonna be a big asset. Magaling mag-util at saka maganda yung aim din. Ni Dignified, one of the best aimers in the Philippines if I may do say so myself as well. So kasama din nila, I believe, si Ner, which is si... Ano pangalan nun? Yung nasa India dati tapos ngayon nandito na sa Pilipinas, si Disrupt. Napakagaling din niya na flex player. Magaling mag-duelist nung nakaraan, nung naglaro siya nung Split 1 VCT noong 2023. Pero nung nag-import siya, nagkaroon siya ng a bit of a resurgence in his career. Literally one of the best teams, if not the best team, under his name in True Rippers. Nung napakaganda ng streak nila. Always coming up clutch in a lot of playoffs. And always a namesake when it comes to yung run ng True Rippers nila all the way in the team. I'm already leveling your expectations here. This could be a really good roster for Old Stinky Cat right here. Which I can't really say the same for Madlang Bayan Stan. But again, remember, sila nga yung nakatalo sa Just Us. And if you remember history, Just Us was also a veteran in the VCT. And sila din yung naglaro sa Predator League dati. So, medyo malakas ata itong Madlang Bayan Stan.
Maybe, right? I mean, granted, Just Us, not necessarily the most explosive of careers. No, they had the VCT run, they had their Predator League run as well, right? But they haven't necessarily got the top spots in either of those leagues, right? So maybe it could be one of those off days for Just Us. I mean, it is a best of one. That is one of the drawbacks of best of ones.
Baka hindi nakakonect yung monitor sa kanila.
It could be one of those things na caught off guard dito yung Just Us, which is the one thing that Madlang Bayan Stan could do against OSC as well here, right? So there's a lot of intricacies at play here. We still don't even know who completes the OSC roster dito. We were talking about some names popping up kanina, no? Maybe even Aeonics being picked up here.
Malay mo, mali ako. Malay mo, hindi pala sila yung maglalaro sa Old Syndicate, diba?
Baka si Dadum pala.
Yung lakas nun. Lakas nun. Narinig ko Radiant daw yun eh. Top 1 Radiant kada lobby.
Alam ko,
habang natutulog.
Ang alam ko, tinatago niya yung rank niya.
Talaga?
Yung main niya, gold lang.
Gold.
Pero yung mga smurf niya, wala tayong alam.
Kaya siya gold kasi pinagbibigyan niya yung mga kalaban niya. Hinahayaan lang.
Ito, in his words, he's
in your words?
Technically a smurf, but not.
Okay. Technically a smurf, but not. So parang Schrodinger's smurf.
Yeah.
Kumbaga.
Yeah.
Diba?
Like
okay.
that.
Okay, Schrodinger's smurf.
And I guess in the same argument, you can say that Madlang Bayan Stan is a Schrodinger's team. Schrodinger's team.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't really know until you open the box.
That's
and
true.
then we get to see who the players are.
Okay, either way, it could be a box of chocolates where you're gonna get treated to a sweet dessert, or it could be a can of worms. Malalaman natin yan mamaya pagdating dito sa ating magiging game in hand. Again, a busy magiging map natin, so a lot of expectations to be played up to set as well. Pag-usapan natin yung magiging patch ngayon. So, in this patch, Chamber has been buffed, Astra has been buffed, meaning medyo may shake-up na yung controller role natin. Pwede ka na mag-Omen, pwede ka mag-Astra. I've seen a few Astra players, specifically si Munchkin, nung naglaro siya over at VCT Pacific. They played a lot of Astra on the Breeze map, on the Ascent map. Ngayon, pwede tayo makakita ng Astra dito sa Old Stinky Cat ngayon. So, ang dami nilang pwedeng gamitin dito, but tama na yung mga picks, tama na yung lahat ng mga yappers natin dito kasi we're heading on into the agent selection in just a bit, mga kaibigan. Old Stinky Cat versus Madlang Bayan Stan. Ang gaganda ng ating mga pangalan dito. Daddy David, Lai, Spider Cobb, at si LZ at Chuchu. Very familiar names. And look at Old Stinky Cat. Skylar Vaughn is back on the roster.
Okay, Skylar Vaughn. This is the second time we're seeing him in the past few days now. Skylar Vaughn going to be playing the Cypher this time. Disrupt, as you said, is going to be filling into that initiator role. And you did mention the Astra getting a ton of resurgence in the meta. No, Owen, the IGL, going to be playing that for his role. And surprise, surprise, it is going to be pretty much a standard approach. Well, double inni for OSC. Pero Madlang Bayan Stan, I would not have coined an ISO as a duelist of choice, but it's Abyss now. It must be preference. But hey, whenever we see an ISO, it's kind of like Arena with a bit more utility. Once it pops off, it could take over the game.
Arguments could be said. Para sa akin, it could be Feast or Famine yet again. Pero mas mahirap nga naman makalaban ng ISO kapag he is in the server, kapag activated na talaga ang kanyang utility, at kapag nafe-feel na ng player na kaya niyang i-take over ang lobby. So we're heading on into Old Stinky Cat versus Madlang Bayan Stan. medyo bigyan kita ng konting information sa kung sino yung gumagamit ng nasa Old Stinky Cat. Si Put Milo on Rice, si Dignified yan.
Dignified.
Si Wardell Curry, now that's Dreech. Now si Dreech, historically, is a utility player.
Yep.
This is going to be one of the first times that we'll see Dreech play an entry duelist role. This is Skylar Vaughn we're talking about on the Sentinel, and his impact on the role has been so good nung other day, right? Binigay na yung role kay Dreech. That means he's putting a lot of trust on Dreech to perform as the Jet.
Yeah.
But it's on Dreech to actually deliver on that regard.
That's a lot of faith, if I'm telling you. This is Skylar Vaughn. If you guys weren't here the other day, Skylar Vaughn absolutely wrecked
Hell yeah.
the freaking lobby when they were playing the other day. In that other roster, this time it's going to be in Abyss with a completely different agent, but it's still the same Skylar Vaughn with a ton of experience. I think I recognize some of the players here as well of MLSB. No, I mean Lai, I've been seeing him around in Tier 2 as well. The Omen. Here we go. Rich Ordeal with the opening pick. Chupageti. The opening up the site here in B. Up above, that's where this spike is going to be planted here from behind. Skylar Vaughn finds one on the flank. Chupageti finding Skylar Vaun. Oh, Stinky Cat actually falling apart in this retake. It's all down to just one. Daddy David, all alone, gets a couple kills. It's a 1-1 put. Rice will be able to clean it up though. There you go, almost falling down out of the map, but MLSB take the first round.
No, actually, it was Old Stinky Cat that claimed the
pala.
first round nga naman. So medyo baliktad nga naman yung ating naging team overlay natin dito. But yeah, it's Dignified. Old Stinky Cat actually claimed the first frag on the board, the first win after makuha din ni Dreech yung kanyang pinakaunang frag on the server. And again, might I mention that this is basically the same duo from Old Stinky Cat, so they kind of have the same set of communication set rules na din. And Disrupt has been playing with the team in a few local tournaments as well. Mentioned Kadiliman, naglaro din siya sa ibang mga sa ilang mga scrims with Old Stinky Cat. So you're not gonna feel any rust whatsoever with this CT-sided team. They're very well in check with how they play as a unit. Now relying upon the mid-side aggress for the side of MLSB as they push up again towards the sites at Owen Cutie. Does have the Spectre in hand. He suspected na agad tong si Spider Cobb, but not Chupageti. Actually overwhelms him with the better long-range tap. Put Milo on Rice. Again, Dignified. He's all alone, but he has been supported by Skylar Vaughn. That's a 4 versus 1, leaving it all to the Omen.
Yeah. Well, it's just round 2, so sigurado wala pa siyang ulti dito. It's Lai. I mean, arguably one of the more experienced players here in the roster. Yeah. But he's not going to be able to hold a candle up against Dreech there on the Outlaw. So that's 2-0 on the board in favor of Old Stinky Cat. And it's going to be an uphill battle. And I want to commend here Owen Cutie, one of the most, I want to say...
decorated.
Yeah, most experienced, most decorated, most composed IGLs sa scene natin. I love his shot calling. This time, going to be kind of picking up the, not necessarily picking up the pieces, but putting these big puzzle pieces together and sort of making it work in the form of Old Stinky Cat, and hoping to make it work here in Predator League, and hoping to get it going by getting into stage 3. MLSB though in their way as Chupageti leads the charge here. A bit more fast approach here in a site. Dreech. Oh, I think they heard where Dreech is.
Yep, Spider Cobb, he already activated agad yung shield niya, but LZ expected na agad tong si Wardell Curry. So Dreech is down, that's their Jet. But remember, this was their bonus run anyway, so it's an expected rule na mananalo sila dito. Pero mali mo, may damage done. Disrupt, that's the Outlaw. Picked up from the second round, already dealt some damage onto Chupageti. Giving up the man count advantage, already tapping on the spike as well. The Astra doing a lot of work as well. Skylar Vaughn picks up a second. And this is doing pretty good damage so far on the side of MLSB. The pulse plant working in their favor. Owen Cutie and Disrupt, a double flank on as Lai shuts down himself. Well, that's a beautiful pulse plant on the side of Cat as MLSB. They give away what was possibly the first run on the board for them.
3-0 here. MLSB unable to recover from that post plant. Playing from main hasn't, well, it's not necessarily the easiest of post plants here.
Especially in this map.
Yeah, especially when you don't have a lot of that utility backing on out in that post plant. Not any info either. You don't have a Sova to play with anymore in that post plant, so it was really hard to pinpoint the locations of the players of Old Stinky Cat. And with that close proximity, the Spectres really do shine. Owen picking up a couple of kills with just Spectre. So, yeah, MLSB had a really rough time there. Unable to secure the round, meaning their guns going to be in shambles this time.
Yep, and Disrupt also giving the Outlaw over to Dreech, who very well will utilize that to his full effect now. A 5-man rush again for Madlang Bayan Stan. Pretty interesting name.
Yeah.
If I do say so myself, right? It's
I wonder where it's from.
I don't know, man. Full rush on towards the ace site now. It's full CT control for them. It's going to be very interesting. Outlaw in hand. Dreech does not get anything. As Skylar Vaughn, he tries to reconvene. A second again for a lie. They are crumbling to pieces. With the lower buys in check, 1v2 now for Disrupt. Remember, he did pick up the Vandal in this coming round right now. Doesn't have a lot to work with except for a few util. Now remembers that there is a Cypher, so he has to be careful about each flank because now a trap could be anywhere. Bash on in, nates it out, but Lai picks up the 3k. The Stinger in hand, proving so much of its worth. A 3-1. Finally, they break through one round.
Yeah, and even if Disrupt could have gotten the kills there, the spike was such in an open spot that he would have been vulnerable for that 1v1. And because of just how narrow that bridge is, very easy to spam on down. So really well done here for MLSB, despite having a big gun deficit. Winning the round, absolutely crucial. And I think this is one of the things as well that you can use when playing up against a team with such a coveted roster, is put them in a map that they may not be necessarily as comfortable as they are in maps like Ascent or Haven. And MLSB put themselves on the board. It's just going to be a battle of brute force and execution.
Yep, will brute force be the best friend for MLSB this time? It worked out in the previous round. Now, Old Stinky Cat are looking to rely on their synergy as they make their way to rotate all the way towards that B-Link position. The thing is, though, I think they have an inkling that they know that the Cypher tripwires are around that B site, so they have to be careful. I believe they also invested one of their shock darts as well, so Chupagetti be risking his own body, his own life, just so that he could get the first entry for the team. Calling for the Sova. The recon is out as well. As full investment on towards the B side itself. They also got the kill contract on towards one of the players. So when QT gets destroyed, thanks to the ulti. And that's also one of the pivotal ultis that Old Stinky Cat would have used in this post plant.
Yeah, it's important too that they take down Owen QT. No smokes available anymore for this post plant. It's going to be really rough for OSC. Trying to get a little bit of space, but MLBS, they try and use some of their util as well. Take down, put Milo on Rice, but Skylar Vaughn finds a piece. Dreech, they charge into the site. Skylar Vaughn goes down, and then suddenly OSC is struggling so much as MLSB hold on to that site. 2 rounds in a row here.
No, we got a game on our hands, man. They slow creep up on towards the B site. They got the killer contract on Owen QT, who could have been very pivotal when it came to this post plant. Had the Cosmic Divide, could have been very strong in that long range post plant. That would have forced them to push a little bit further. But they left Spider Cov in a very comfortable position where they actually just full rotated on, just forced all their heads into that long angle where they never expected that backside to be somewhat of a nest, a trap for Spider Kobe. Now that I think about it, it's not really Spider Cobb now. I think it's Spider Kobe. Think about Kobe and how he's rolling around just with spider leg.
You paint an interesting picture sometimes.
I know, right?
But MLSB, well, the fact of the matter is they're giving Old Stinky Cat a run for their money here. I mean, it's so important too that they take down. Yo, stop it.
Just think about it, right? Like he's crawling up to get a dunk on the basketball.
Why do you imagine a spider? Why can't he be like Spider-Man?
I don't know, man. It's Spider Kobe. That's literally what his name is.
Anyway, Lai tucked down under hell here. As MLSB who look to hold down to this ace site. Interesting approach though. They're putting 3 players inside the site.
He had a double flank, triple flank actually from the side of Old Stinky Cat, but it's a little too close for comfort as Dignified actually decides to push on a little bit too close for comfort. LZ gets knocked down by Wardle Curry, but Chupagetti will lock it down with Spider Kobe to get a 3-3 score for Madlang Bayan Stan. That is a strong push over to A. And I like their playstyle right now, decisively taking both extremities on the map. And without even slowing down at all, they realize that Old Stinky Cat have been relying on the retakes every time. And to force out the win in those retake scenarios, they put a punish on one of the players who were willing to actually take the first engagement himself. He was dignified in this sort of situation. He was pushing himself over towards that rope side a little bit too close.
Yeah.
While the flank was still on the watch, so if they actually coordinate a little bit more, then OSC could have had a really strong position. Went out into the post that Spaghetti. This guy's on a hot streak. That's another frag for the duelist. And Dreech has been knocked down to the ground. Again, 3 pivotal ultis for Madlang Bayan Stan. And they can use it in the post plant, but Spaghetti decides that his entry might be more than enough. The suck comes in as well. Old Stinky Cat forced on towards the rotation.
Yeah, what's important here is they've already taken down Digny with the op here, so that's one key factor down. Owen has to survive this encounter. They need the smokes if they ever get to the post plant, and seemingly more and more likely with Lambayan already pushing in from behind. Lai shuts down Owen, and again the controller's down for OSC. Plant going down. Skylar Vaughn about to push up before the neural theft, but decides to back off.
The timing, it could have been perfect for him. And Lai, a really good ulti from him as well, surprising Owen Cutie, but the fight's happening over at that link position. Lai is going to get pushed down. Skylar Vaughn, he holds his own, but Spaghetti is still on a hot streak. A double from the Neon himself. And a surprising attempt for MLSB, a ballsy push shot for Lai, using his From the Shadows to surprise Owen Cutie. Knocked down one of the only anchors on B, who was relying so much on that tripwire to get info, but Disrupt at least will get a bit of damage. That's the only thing that they can hope for this time around, as they have given up the round. Madlang Bayan Stan surprising Old Stinky Cat at every turn. The ulti from the Omen, the push shot again over to Skylar Vaughn. A lot of adjustments made after some initial attempts to actually aggress onto that B-side push.
And as you mentioned in the previous round, right, I love the way Madlang Bayan Stan have been approaching these rounds, right? Extremities of the map has been the name of the game. And I did touch up upon this. The mid part of this map, very awkward to play against. And MLSB, they addressed that by completely ignoring that mid defense and going and attacking both ends of the site at the same time. And that actually gives them a two-prong approach. Number one, it catches the defensive positions here of OSC off guard. And for another, it keeps them confused. Where is Madlang Bayan going to push? This time, they're going to contest against Digny again. Swing out, doesn't get the shot in. Tailwind, but he's going to be playing up against this ISO. Just the operator, just a classic actually. Oh, still wins the fight. Spider Cop goes down. Digny finally getting punished after that. Rolling Thunder going to be used up by Disrupt. Full on retake in the works. Aftershock catches Spaghetti. And now they finally are on the sites, taking control of it and the rounds. Skylar Vaughn for the final kill. And OSC back on the board. 4-4.
That is a nice Rolling Thunder being set up by Disrupt. They couldn't cover any ground. It was surprising as well that Dreech actually went on that kill contract duel just with the classic alone. He had his shield back online while he used his kill contract, so that one shot from the operator wouldn't have done anything whatsoever as well. So the classic was a smarter choice.
Yeah.
He won the gunfight, which was surprising. And even though he died there, that actually bought a lot of time for the team to actually recognize that P was the threat anyways. So Disrupt, even though there were teammates in the vicinity, he used his ulti just to cover a bit more ground on the retake itself. Perfect usage of the ulti. Skylar Vaughn's going to get contested though, as Dreech gets himself that first blood he's been looking for. Operator in hand has runched up his value in good ways. Spaghetti and Owen Cutie, he gets a double kill for his troubles. The IGL has proven his weight in gold in holding the B site, now relying upon his 3 players to actually try to set up for the retake scenario.
Yeah. This time MSB haven't even gotten the spike down yet. Meanwhile, everyone pushing up from OSC. That's the operator coming in through from heaven as well. Disrupt up close and personal. I don't think there's a lot of util in their way, but they do have good positions here for the retake. Recon Dart coming out.
Spike planted.
And the position gonna be absolutely important here. Some footsteps being heard. Daddy David up close, gets the swing, not the double. As that's the trade-up coming through with the operator as it sings across the board. A headshot and the double for the clutch. Spider Cobb shutting down the opposition. Madlang Bayan Stan get the upper hand again.
1v2 for Skylar Cobb as well. Yep, that was a quick spray transfer, hitting the guy on top before he gets the other one. And it would have been a nice 3v2 as well.
This is impressive, kid.
I know, right?
Madlang Bayan Stan, they came in Nobody knew who they are, but they're proving to be a powerhouse of a team. What was that from Spider Cop?
I mean, we don't know them, but Old Stinky Cat definitely are recognizing them so far in the matchup right here. Overpowering them in the retake scenarios as Dreech, he tries his hand again on over-aggressing, but the Paranoia does a really good job of shutting that down. It was a solo push for Dreech himself, so he has to back away, forcing a main control on the side of Madlang Bayan Stan. Hunter's Fury in check, not from Dignified, but on the Silva on the attacking side as well. Spider Cobb, he had no hesitation, had a bit of a scan, pushes on in, Dignified gets one, but Spider Cobb and Lai, they get themselves two, as Madlang Bayan Stan have forced themselves inside A successfully without a hit.
Yeah, losing only one player in that matter, their duelist, and now OSC down to 2, Skylar Vaughn. What can you do? Can you find that same resurgence of energy as you did a couple of days ago in Stage 1? This time with the IGL, only Sheriffs to work with. They already cleared up that A main position, but has to meticulously clear out every single corner. LZ the first in their way. Skylar Vaughn gets tapped, but LZ quick to dismiss of the enemy Cypher, and just like that, Madlang Bayan 2 rounds ahead.
My goodness, Madlang Bayan Stan. Wow. We have been talking about surprises possibly in the way in this bracket right here. We had a bit of our expectations for these VCT experienced rosters, but 2-round lead for the side of Madlang Bayan Stan. This is looking pretty possible for them.
It is.
They have overtaken Old Stinky Cat in the current situation, but still too early to tell. Still 2 rounds to go for this first half. Spider Cobb looking pretty well adjusted in this matchup alone. Dreech pushes in. No hesitation from this guy. Scan on 2 and gets a double. Not even needing a timeout, not even needing a reset. This guy wanted to take early aggression and put it on a high. Dashes back in towards safety, but he's already contented with getting 2 frags off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's what the problem is for Old Stinky Cat. They've been playing too reactive, and Dreech, deciding to take matters into his own hands, chips down the players of Madlang Bayan to 3. And now they played mid. This is an interesting approach here. They need a ton of util, but because of the conditioning that they've been hitting the extremities of the map, Old Stinky Cat have no clue that mid is getting swarmed by all of MLBS.
Well, if they're not too careful, they're going to get sandwiched themselves, as MLBS gonna try to sniff out some of that BS. Disrupt, just get info, just get 2. And a perfect fault line as well. Lai has crept up a little bit too closely. Is Dignified, picks up the pieces for his own. And now the puzzle has been set up for Old Stinky Cat. Owen Cutie holding the line and even gets the spike. Another shot from Daddy David as he's left all alone in a 1v4. What can he do? He can rotate around that B-side extremity. See if he can surprise him from behind. Link position also open for him, but he has to fight a 1v1 duel from somebody up top. Decides he wants to take multiple gunfights at the same time. 12 seconds, pushes on in, double frag out. That is Disrupt picking up the last frag for the team. 5th round win for Old Stinky Cat.
There you go. OSC, they found their stride. They just need to be aggressive here, Chris. I think that's the play. Just put Stritch in that aggressive angle. Couple that with that utility, man. The recon, the stun coming through. All Astra Stars invested on top of the breach as well. And I think that's what they need here. Just create that space for themselves. Don't let, well, Madlang Bayan play them at their own game, and they should have enough leeway to get themselves to equal footing going to the second half. But the question is, can they do that again?
Yep. Alam mo, very recently ko lang ito nalaman, pero alam mo yung sabihin ng Madlang Bayan? Community.
You and me.
Community, literally. So this is the community against Old Stinky Cat right now. But will the community win against one of the best teams in the Philippines? Lai to make quick work over towards that ace site. The plan coming down as well from Madlang Bayan Stan. It's a quick adjustment from a slow approach over to the mid side. As the attack comes in, overdrive activated for Chupagetti. Remember, it is him that has been getting a lot of entry frags entirely. Scarlet Vaughn and Dreech entries on in, dashes towards the cage. It's an ulti versus ulti battle between the duelists, but Chupagetti could not adjust. A second, a third kill for Chupagetti! As Madlang Bayan Stan, they're winning at the gunfights in the end as Lai picks up a double kill for the controller. A 7-5 for Madlang Bayan Stan. We've had our expectations dealt on a swivel.
We have Chupagetti just pulled them apart in this post plant here. I mean, it was a nice entry, a nice start of the round for Ditch, but take a look at this. Chupagetti, through hell and high water, forced his way in, even got a lot of damage onto Disrupt before he gets taken down by Lied, but man, oh man, Madlang Buyingstein, we did not expect them to win, let alone get the advantage here, but I was thinking, Cat, man, they gotta dig deep.
Yeah. I mean, to give them their own credit, right? Old Stinky Cat in their history, especially under Owen Kuti's calling, has always been an attacker-sided mid-round team.
That's
so
fair.
they could possibly still get themselves back up since it is 5-7. It is a close game so far. Finally, we get one on our hands. But not the mind stand. They do not want a close game. They want to end this right here, right now. Chupagetti, he's willing to take an early fight on that main side aggress. The problem is, though, they don't have the breach. They have a Sova to work with, and that's the only utility he's counting on. So that shock dart's not going to work that much damage. But he is expecting that someone's going to push up, especially with the gun poking into the smoke. But it is Reach that gets another over to Chupagetti. That's an entry. But it's not the push over A. They have forced the rotation. Look at the indecisiveness of the ISO, just pummeling left and right and center.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the difference between the approach of Old Stinky Cat and MLBS. The bait and switch, they're going to come back into that A site after taking down one of the players there. And I think they're going to re-attempt this execute down in A. No split approach whatsoever. They're just going to put everything, all eggs in one basket. Some Astro Stars being set up in B, it's a bit of a rotate, and that positions the ISO back in B. Meanwhile, also you got, they're gonna push into that A site. Recon Dart destroyed, and Wardo
30 seconds
pushing
left.
up with the team. That's Dritch clearing up back site live, playing inside of the Astro Smokes as Danny David shuts down Disrupt off of that default position.
Oh, here's it.
But Owen gets flat.
He hears it, he hears it. He is realizing the situation. Pushes on in. The shield comes up, but Dignified has no fear. He has no fear. Someone killed the Sova. But Daddy David, he still picks up his double kill. By the end of it, still gets an ample amount of chance to actually win out this post plant. But Owen Cutie will shut it all down. 1v3. He has already picked up the double, so he needs the ace clutch to actually get himself the 8th round. That's a third, but Owen Cutie, he was up on a high position, and the elevation was enough for him. 6th round on the side of Old Stinky Cat. And, well, I wouldn't say it's a climb. They actually need a walk in the park to actually, you know, trail behind over to the side of MLBS.
And I think the important thing here for MLBS is to keep composed. They already got ahead. They just need to stay ahead at this point, right? I mean, you could see the indecisiveness of the team, and that could be nerves here, playing up against such a coveted team as Old Stinky Cat, right? They need to stay composed here, which is usually the difference between experienced and not so experienced teams, which is the case here. MLBS, they need to get that mental together.
And together they shall sail. As they try to see if they can get a pick itself. Owen Cutie expects it, so he decides to run away from danger. Guardian is a huge gun. They expect it. The Scholar Vaughn, he peeks on with Owen Cutie. Pushes up to see if he can get more. Daddy David has to be careful. He is not. Wow. That's another 4 versus 1. With a blink of an eye, they get 3 picks in the round. And an MLBS moving on to the Cypher. Lonely with his hat. On a journey to pick up what is left off for the MLBS City side position.
Yeah, LZ making the long way round, taking the scenic route.
Way round.
I'm gonna take it for the long way round.
How is this do another song?
But hey, I think the chances of LZ securing this one is kind of far-fetched. There's a ping coming through. He jumped off them.
Don't you love Abyss?
I already stated my opinion about it. It's fun to watch.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Is that G2, the men roster, they were the first team to actually give themselves up to the Abyss map. Like the whole team fell off the map, right? Just this weekend, G2 goes in VCT Game Changers EMEA, did the same thing. And it's G2 again. So every time it's G2, they will do something like that on Abyss. So every time you jump off the map, is it a G2 now? Is that what we call it now?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You could call it that, I guess. But, Dritch.
Kind of knocked
Bit
himself
of a
there.
fumble there. But doesn't fumble the duel. LZ goes down. That's the defensive line down for the counter in B. That's the only defense here for MLBS. As the spike does go down.
That's funny, no? His movement wasn't perfect, but his aim was. In that location, the Spider Cobb has out the gunfight over to Reach. He was low on HP. The scan was perfect. Daddy David takes full advantage. Disrupt will take the trade. 4 versus 3. And while Owen Cutie is still alive, this post plant is still doable. Chupagetti, that's a really good stun, but by the end of it, they're still double peeking! And that could have been the bait of the resistance. It's still Owen Cutie getting another for Old Stinky Cat. That was too close for comfort.
That was a big stun. They should have won that fight. So let me ask you this. Do you think the stun needs a buff?
I think the stun needs a rework.
Because everyone there on that main position was stunned here from Old Stinky Cat's roster, but they still dismantled that push from Lai. I mean, yeah, Lai got a couple of kills, but it wasn't enough.
I mean, Chupagetti was just off of a jump anyway, so the movement error was still here. Kind of needed a few seconds to actually readjust his aim.
Okay.
You know, so there's a few caveats to what he did there.
Of course.
You know, I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I know that I like to complain about stuns being broken, but sometimes the reason why they don't actually kill somebody who's stunned was sometimes because of movement error.
That's true.
You know, this is the case for Chupagetti there, who I might say has been receding ever since the second half started, thanks to Old Stinky Cat and how they've been reading the aggressive attempts out for MLBS. Like, remember that push out over to B? That was all while Owen Cutie was holding on his own.
Oh, yeah.
If he pushed that while 3 players were pushing, he wouldn't have any cover, and he wouldn't have anybody to support him. Skyler Vaughn was literally on mid waiting for somebody to push with him.
Yeah. But the thing is, OSC, they're on a hot streak right now. 3 rounds in a row. And they're looking set for at least the next couple of rounds, eco-wise.
I thought you were going to say life. Because I want.
Yeah, that was what was my head was at, but that doesn't make sense.
I know, right? Not yet, while they're not in Cebu yet.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's true. And they gotta get past this squad first, but they gotta get past Chupagetti Shorty first. First and foremost,
Here.
they're gonna pivot away from that after getting the orb. And this is one thing I love about OSC, the orb priority.
Push out for Spider Cobb after they put down a very interesting tripwire, anticipating that Old Sticky Cat might push on, and Skyler Vaughn, well, he is a duelist main, so he kind of anticipated his own moves. Pushes on, Spider Cobb down for the count. That's the ISO gone.
Right here.
It's one of the aggressive attempts. Thwarted on the side of Old Sticky Cat. I don't know if they picked up the Vandal, because when I was pointing out in the minimap, I had my back turned. So 5 versus 4, push on from Wardell Curry. That is Dreech, who tries to entry on into the site. Spy Cam Dart actually will give him some opportunity to catch his breath. He was doing a bit of a jog as he was rotating onto the B side.
Ooh, Owen finds Chupagetti. A bit of an early call on the retake there. Catches the Neon off guard. Well, remember, there's not a lot of weaponry for MLBS. Only the Sheriffs. Wardell, Rich gets a kill again. And the third. That's 9-7 on the board. OSC. They dismantled that eco like it was nothing.
Absolutely. I mean, attacker sided mid-round calling, I would say. As Owen Cutie himself has called upon the rotation towards the B site. It was an early adjustment for the team. They get one pick over to Spider Cobb. They didn't even put down the cage, so he was pushing there without any info. He pushed there with the hopes of getting an early frag. He never expected 4 to peek onto him onto the mid side. Opened up the space over to the B side after that. 4 ultis available for Old Stinky Cat now. And the ultis that are very important for them is the Breach ult and the Astro ult. So, strong post plant. Really good pre-plant as well. And never mind the post-plant, they actually go for it right now. Daddy David Hunter's Fury is perfect on Dreech. Could not even enter onto the site. He was just waxed on before he could get waxed off.
Yeah, Hunter's Fury gonna be able to pick off one of the members here. Still taking their time here, OSC, despite all the investing costs provided. They had to get the spike soon down here in B site before the players on LBS decide to push up. Disrupt can be finally going in for the plant. Spider Cobb decide to push down up against the Cyber Cage. Gets nothing. A bullet straight to his face is what he gets. As Owen, Skyler Vaughn, Disrupt get one apiece. And suddenly MLBS can't even get a single kill. What's a post plant? A perfect one for OSC.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, this is the thing about like Old Stinky Cat. When you start to doubt them, they actually rise to the occasion now.
Yeah.
Everybody liked to underestimate them back in Split 1 2023 when they were one of the few new chips on the block.
Yeah.
I would say when they were Game Lab Alpha, and the golden child of that roster was Owen Cutie himself, because he was a superstar when it came to mid-round calling. He could also frag for his own weight, and now he has built up a name for himself as being one of those players that you can rely on when it comes to the util usage and the mid-round calling, which has improved tenfold as we come up to this point 2 years later. Talagang napakalakas ng team na to. Kahit sino pang gawin mong entry duelist, kahit sino pang gawin mong supportive staff, as long as you have Owen QT, you can always rely on him to give really good calls as the IGL.
And then when you put so much firepower into the team as well, you talk about Dritch, you talk about Skylar Vaughn playing for 2 different rosters right now. And 2 different roles, mind you.
I know, right?
Top fragging on both of them in the same tournament is absolutely nuts if you think about it. But that on one of the most decorated IGLs in the country, and this is what you get. OSC, steel composure, so composed.
I know we talk about a lot of the players on Old Sticky Cap, but what can we say about Dignified? He just puts Milo on rice. That's interesting.
It's called Dorm Champurado.
Is that going to be speed enough? We will find out. MLBS, they push on. The B-side aggress as Walder Curry actually reconvenes with a 1-for-1 scoreline. That's an overdrive activated. Chupaghetti is looking to hunt for a fight. He spots out Disrupt, but he will have to deal with the tripwire. But Disrupt, he is still there, uses the utility of Skylar Vaughn, who actually lurked on towards the B site itself. LZ is here to stand his ground, but he only has a hand cannon for it.
Skylar Vaughn hoping to receive. It's spotted out by the trap wire, but at this point, I think he got already into the site. Oh, LZ, there you go. That's the spam. Skylar Vaughn does go down finally, but the Bayern still don't have a lot of guns here. There you go. Upgrade onto just one of their players as Lai pushes up, gets the Omen into the thick of things. Neural Theft used up as well as LZ finds Disrupt, and this retake fully in the works. OSC down to 1. The IGL gets both players, but runs out of bullets as LZ swings out away from danger. 8-10. But Lambayenstein scrounge up around.
1 bullet and a dream, 5 HP and a lifetime for LZ. A thrifty round for MLBS. And a few mistakes in the post plant that I kind of caught with my eye. The push for Skylar Vaughn that gave a free Vandal upgrade in the retake scenario where a few of them didn't even have guns in the first place. Relied upon by using the overdrive by Chupaghetti, who, yes, got caught with his pants down. Wasn't even thinking about the Cypher Tripwire anymore. And I think Owen Cutie, I think he was using his utility just so that he could have the perfect post plant. The problem is though, he didn't have the cover to fight off LZ, didn't have the bullets as well. Triple kill for LZ in that round. 8-10. They catch up, at least attempt to. Over to the side of MLBS. The push on again from Dritch. He doesn't have the updraft anymore, so that heaven push, well, it's something that he will not think about. He has to think about the kill contract onto him, where Skyder Kobe will actually win in the end.
That's the first pick of this round again in favor of MLBS, but the site already swarmed by OSC. Just a single prong approach, no flank coming in from MLBS. All players already inside of the site, but there's still a lot of utility in the way of that diffuse. Not to mention the swing from Put Milo on Rice, looking to clear up danger. First, Hunter's Fury is the first they use to deny that spike. Diffuse! David gotta be able to find Disrupt. The aggression from OSC getting disrupted. And Chupaghetti on the off. Daddy David on the Vandal. MLBS get 2 rounds in a row. And Old Stinky Cat again run into trouble.
Absolutely. They walk into the kill contract that forced a 4 versus 5. That Spider Kobe, I think he hardly ever loses these ultis, right? I mean, the 3 times that I've seen him use these, he always converts it with a kill. And in this retake scenarios where they needed the Jet, they needed someone to take the space for him, already dealt with. Already the value has been dwindled down for them. Not even able to answer back against MLBS. They put up the 9-10, only needing 1 more. And, well, while it's not broke, they're not going to fix it this time. Old Stinky Cat go back to pushing on the B side yet again. Without the kill contract anymore, so the Jet He's gonna have only the trip wars to think about when he is pushing onto this B site.
I commend decision making here from MLBS as well. They so good at catching timings against OSC. While the macro may not be as stellar, they're so good at taking duels, taking the timings. LZ, speaking of which, finds one up against Dritch. So that's going to thin out the herd here for OSC on the post plan. MLBS again on the standard approach.
He's thinking about rotating back around that heaven position, and he doesn't need to.
What?
LZ is winning fights
Exactly.
like he thought that he was going to win everything. This guy is full confidence on a high right now. As the stocks are rolling for MLBS until Skylar Vaughn has something to say. As he peeks on towards that main position, the cam is out as well. LZ pushes, but Owen Cutie is still here. Skylar Vaughn double peeks on with a 3K for Skylar Vaughn.
There you go.
He was on the Neon the other day. Now he's fragging without a hat on the Cypher.
Yeah, OSC back to 2 rounds ahead, and I was talking about this. The players of Leviathan so good at catching timing, so good at these duels, but when it comes to standard play, when there's utility backing up the post plant here, you know that OSC, they're gonna shine with the setups, with Skylar Vaughn, well, taking the spotlight this time. 11-9. And MLBS, I mean, at this point, you could see that the timings of the duels just hasn't been enough for MLBS anymore, so they have to rely to a little bit more map control. And they're going to be doing that with some A-main pushes, not fully doing so, and some noise towards that mid area where Martel Curry, Dritch already pushing up.
Yep. Just Spider Kobe to think about, and Daddy David with a timing on his hand. The pushes, sees the ISO, low on HP.
They don't have guns.
They don't have guns anyway as well, so Sheriff in hand for a few of the players on MLBS. That defense is not looking too good for them. Double stack up, a crossfire is still in place. But is that timing worth it for them as they spam on the boxes, actually helping their cause? LZ, he has the gun, and he is supporting the team. Pushes on, but he gets denied. Disrupt and Dignified, the 2 duo, and are actually doing a lot of work in the push shot on the side of Old Sticky Cat. A 4 versus 2 on towards the enemy line. Spaghetti dashes in, slides in towards Dignified. He loses the gunfight against Skylar Vaughn, and it's a 1v3 now. Davy David starts out well with the first frag.
Yeah, but he's going to have to do 2 more here, and it's up against Skylar Vaughn, the top frag, and the IGL Owen QT. No util anymore. 15 seconds until the recon dart, but time ticking away. Skylar Vaughn, timing. Oh, he's spotted by Daddy David here. Timing could be perfect, and Daddy does get it. Now it's a 1v1. 1 bullet remaining. Goes for the reload. That's info given away. Owen QT knows that David is up close. Recon dart. Swing out. Ooh. And Owen has to play the time. And all you gotta do is just that. Daddy David, nice swing outs. But won't be able to secure the round. It's OSC who does. Match point secured.
And this is where Goliath won in the end. David cannot handle the pressure.
Yeah.
The time not on his side. And the strat definitely overwhelming for them. Pushing over to that B-link position. No trip ward to confirm any suspicions. And no info in that initial pre-plant scenario. Where Daddy David had to pick up the pieces. But in the end, he had 2 guns that didn't have any bullets at all. Got actually the 3K, which does give him a few ult ores by the end of the day. But that consolation prize.
Yeah.
I'd take the spike defuse any day of the week.
Especially if it's against match point. 12-9 the score, ladies and gents. And LBS has to get 3 perfect rounds in a row. The silver lining is that I think their eco is back to somewhat of a decent state. Guardian in the hands of Daddy David, holding on to the Hunter's Fury as well. But the setup, it's a 3-stack down in B. There's no one there for most Sticky Cat. It's mid, they're gonna push down 2. LZ's the only one to receive. Spectre finds a lot of trouble for OSC to get through, so nice hold from LZ.
Low on HP for LZ as well, so I think he's done a pretty good job of holding that position. They rotated onto the A site, possibly to reconnect with the team. However, they're going back to piddle on towards the B side right now. That's a good call for Old Stinky Cat. Cosmic Divide activated as well, so all they need to think about is where they're going to plant this time. It's on the thin bridge for Dignified and the rest of the squad to huddle up in towards the 5 versus 5 retake scenario that MLBS are forced into. Cosmic Divide still active, pushes on in! but the flash was not enough. Spider Kobe still adjust in time. 4v5. Fault line still in place. Ultimate still active. Disrupt uses the Rolling Thunder, but that is the push shot for Skylar Vaughn. The ulti from Dignified as they leave the Omen all alone in a 1v3. Pushes on with the TP, but Owen Cutie expects it any day of the week. It is old Stinky Cat, the last remaining roster that is qualifying towards the group stages of Predator League 2025.
There you go. Both slots have been filled up. It's OSC. It's now us both heading to that stage 3 spot. And, well, it was a bit of a tough road here for OSC. Massive props to Madlang Bayan. I mean, this is a squad that I will look out for in the future. But it is OSC to come out on top. Congratulations to the squad.
Absolutely, right? I mean, they have come up so huge, especially when it came to that first half where they started, I believe it was on the defensive rounds when they, or actually the attacking rounds where they actually put up a bit of a fight against OSC where they relied on the retakes every single time. But you know, there's an ISO ult that's always been converted. The pushes as well for Chupageti where he's getting multi-frags.
Oh, yeah.
The potential was there, but when it came to the retake scenarios on the defensive side, nagpa-fight back pa rin ng OSC. Tapos nung nag-switch up na tayo sa second half, that is where the attacking mid-round calling has shined through for Owen Cutie yet again and the rest of the squad for OSC.
But I do have to say, if it wasn't for that calling, if it wasn't for the team play here of OSC, I dare say it's pretty darn close between these two. The firepower, the raw talent of the players here from Madlang Bayan is something that we rarely see these days from a team that is not decorated at all. These are names that are unfamiliar to me, and yet they put such a phenomenal performance so close up against OSC that they deserve respect. And this definitely deserve respect.
Yeah, I think in the situation for these types of pug teams where some players just try to battle up together, see if they can see how long or how far they can get in brackets like these, right? I think the importance here is that they've shown their talent.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of eyes were on them to see how they will perform, to see how well they're able to handle the pressure against top tier teams, right? Hopefully a bigger organization will pick one of these players up, two of these players up, possibly the whole team, just so that they could prove their worth yet again against top-tier teams consistently. Because this is a showcase that there are times that sometimes gods can bleed. An old Stinky Cat, a top 6 roster in the Philippines currently. I'd say MLBS actually gave them a run for their money.
Yeah, tell you it doesn't bleed though. Skylar Vaughn still rocking the top frag. You know what? I'm willing to bet that he's the MVP of this game. I mean, let's face it. Skylar Vaughn fragged out of his mind, and there you go. The highlights doing the same thing as well, highlighting that fragging cipher. Getting the final 3 kills in this round as well is absolute insanity here for Skylar Vaughn. Filling the roles of a couple of different teams as well. It's just, it's unheard of. There you go, the MVP is Skylar Vaughn. Yeah, 13-9, Old Sticky Cat move on. Phenomenal performance from both of these squads.
Can I just say that it's weird that I'm seeing Daddy only at the scoreboard, him being the MVP for MLBS. I mean, they did pretty well when it came to the attacking side. Abyss for me really is about that mid-round calling, and it kind of came down to the decisive pushing for MLBS. That's why they got themselves the edge into that 7-5 score. It's kind of difficult though to play up with a team that really has plan A, plan B, and plan C set up by the get-go, because they had a lot of insurance policies. They also have a really strong composition to handle these sort of post-plants. They're willing to actually take aggressive fights because they knew that MLBS had the strength of actually being a linear sort of team composition, right? They use all their util. They won't have much into the next post-plant. And what do you know? Old Stinky Cat actually has a strength wherein not only on the retake scenarios are they really good, but they're also really efficient with keeping their utility.
And that linearity is sort of a deficit of of two things, right? Yeah. Their composition and their shot calling. It just is really what made the difference here between these two squads. But let's take a recap of that tournament bracket here for the day. And those are the two teams advancing to Stage 3. As you can see, Naos Esports and Old Stinky Cat. There you have it. Both teams not strangers to us.
Yeah, we've seen them before. Yeah, not even just at the local scene as well. They're also like pretty popular in the Predator scene as a whole. Now as esports, they were one of the few rosters that actually held their own in the Predator League scene. They were also one of the representatives in Asia Pacific 2023, 2024 actually, my mistake, as well as Old Stinky Cat. They were this close to actually qualifying for last year's Asia Pacific League, and now they have another shot. Now, this is where it all becomes interesting because group stage is going to be a banger. We have these two teams now as esports as well as Old Stinky Cat now fight off with the previous winners of the previous Predator events this year. We have Oasis Gaming as well as SR Nakage. And don't forget, we also have Virtus Arcus in that same roster. So those 5 teams for the group stages will be one heck of a banger.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't wait for stage 4 as well, right? You already got 4 teams qualified. You talk about the improvements of some of the teams heading into this year. I mean, AIM-PH, I want to highlight them in particular because the last time I saw them, they had a lot of promise, but they weren't looking the best. But now it seems like they've worked a lot of those kinks, and with who is at the top 10 in the team or in the VCT scene, the best right now, I think AIM is going to make it this year.
Okay. I like that argument. I do want to give a bit of a shout to No Org because the resiliency from this team, making it to a lot of grand finals and a few Predator events and improving every single time is telling me that they're going to be one heck of a team to look out for when it comes to that. Of course, let's not forget to shout out all the other teams. We have Zol Esports, who top 2 in the Philippines. I believe top 1 right now when it comes to consistency. As well as, you know, everybody else. What? Velocity Gaming. Yep, one of our recent additions as well. So pedal to the metal, Georgie in the lineup. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, exactly. Guys, but that concludes our games for the day. Unfortunately, it's a quick day for us, but make sure to give some love to Predator Gaming. We are everywhere. Make sure to follow us on our socials at Predator Gaming PH on Facebook and Instagram, at Predator PH on X, and at Predator Gaming _PH on Twitch. This is where you will find all the announcements, all the giveaways, all the upcoming events of Predator should you want to take part.
Yep, and I do want to mention that we also have a sponsor on this stream as well. It is the PC Game Pass with access to 100+ AAA games. This is your sign to subscribe to the PC Game Pass. Get your first 3 months with every purchase of a Predator laptop. You can get yours right now on the link below, as well as check out the QR code to get your own Acer Predator laptop right here, right now. That concludes the one-day wildcard for today's Valorant stream, and that just means the group stage is gonna look even hotter. My name is Ramon, with me is Datum. This has been an exciting set of games in the Asia Pacific Predator League 2025 Philippine Regional Qualifiers. Thank you so much for today's stream. We'll see you in the group stages.
Bye-bye.
Last player standing. No targets left. Nowhere to run. Remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Who? One enemy remaining. Flawless. Defenders win.
One dead.
Last player standing. Nice!
Headshot. Eagle eye.
Coming through! Last player standing.
Cover going out.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Clutch. Enemy kill. My ult's ready. One enemy remaining. Spike down mid. 30 seconds left. Give me the